Innovate 2016 is on the road again. We're at DLD, New York, with one of New York's leading new media theorists. Am I supposed to say leading? You can just be one of the leading.
I just am.
He just is. Jeff Jarvis, my old frenemy. Jeff, you and I think we may disagree on some aspects of digital media, but I think we're probably on the same political page. What do you make so far of the 2016 election?
In full disclosure,
Oh my God.
my Hillary hat.
And you were for Hillary last year too.
Last time, yeah. So I'm hoping that this means that we have an experienced, reasonable person in the White House. So in full disclosure, that's what I'm supporting. Obviously, the story is Trump. And I think the bigger story that's clearly going on isn't just that there's pent-up anger that we're finally hearing. It isn't just that media made Donald Trump. I think the real story in the end is that we're seeing an institutional revolution, just the thing to scare the bejesus out of you, where we're seeing a shift to tribal behavior again, and the tribe online can find itself and can foment revolution within an institution and against an institution, putting the institution against itself, which is what's happened with the Republican Party and to an extent with Bernie with the Democratic Party.
And you celebrate that?
No, I don't. I fear that. You know, the argument that we have all the time is looking at the positive or the negative side of the change in the technology. I tend to look at the positive side, but I absolutely acknowledge that this can be misused, and we have choices that we have to make about how we use them. In a sense, Donald Trump is the emperor troll. He represents everything that's bad about what the internet can do, and he knows how to exploit all of that, and media, of course, as well. He uses that very well, and media are still desperate for page views and desperate for volume, so it all fits in there because they're making money off Donald Trump. And yes, it is the dark side of what the internet can do. Your day has arrived.
And is Bernie Sanders the good side? I mean, you're supporting Hillary. She's not really internet-based at all, is she?
No, she's not. President Obama even made fun of her that she wouldn't know how to poke. I'll get in trouble with people, but I think that what ties Bernie Sanders...
You've never been in trouble with people.
No, never. I hate it. Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, one could say that what ties them together is anger in the populace. I would also argue, this is going to be in trouble, that they are fundamentally narcissistic because they're
Selfie
using
politicians.
Yeah, they're using this platform to be able to get huge amounts of attention, rather than Bernie Sanders is just only a recent Democrat. He is not fighting for the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton. In the end, Donald Trump is no Republican. They don't care about the institutions. You're somebody who cares about institutions and values them, and I do too. I think what you want to do, if I may, is conserve against the change of those institutions. I welcome the change, but I recognize that the change can be bad.
What about the debate about innovation and the innovation economy? Why are none of the candidates discussing the real revolution of digital? Why is Uber and Airbnb and the sharing economy and the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, why isn't none
I don't
of that
think
being
it's
discussed?
truly touched most people in that fundamental way yet. I mean, the argument in the American election is trade, is isolationism, building walls around things. And so in general, yes, I think that it does, these candidates try to augur against change. They try to return to some imagined glorious past. It's fundamentally nostalgic, but it's not because I think that the internet has caused the more fundamental change of enabling globalization, and that's really the issue in this election.
Who should Silicon Valley's candidate be? Is there a candidate, or do we need to create one?
I think right now, I think it is Hillary Clinton, because I think that even though I've disagreed with what she's said in some cases about, for example, Edward Snowden and such, I think that she brings experience and she brings the ability to invest in a future. If we cut off trade around the world, which is what the others want to do, that doesn't help Google and Facebook and Apple and companies like that. And so if we're going to build markets for technology and innovation, we need to do it globally.
Where's the change going to come, Jeff? It's certainly not going to come in this election. Is it going to come through new technologies? Don Tapscott thinks that blockchain will change everything. Or is it going to come from different kinds of behavior?
I think it has to come from different kinds of behavior in the end, and I do think that we're quite early in the change.
We always hear that, Jeff. It's always we're early.
We're very early. This is after the invention of the Gutenberg press. It took 150 years to invent the newspaper. Right. This is 1475. We don't know what the hell the internet is yet. It's early.
But time is moving faster than it did in the 15th century.
No, I think that's the even more frightening thing for you. Is that the belief is, oh, this change is happening so quickly, ergo it must almost be done now. It's only just begun. If you look at the institutions that have come on the net, they are still recognizable as their legacy institutions. Books, magazines, and newspapers look like books, magazines, and newspapers. We have not reinvented media, government, education. We've barely begun to rethink what they can be.
But isn't that a non-answer by saying it's too early to tell?
No, what it says is that we could screw this up royally, right? Donald Trump is an indication of fucking this up royally. And we have to worry about that. We have to look. I've had, cases where we've seen harassment and trolling and things like that online. I talked to my students about it the other day, and they kind of said they shrugged it off to the extent that say, well, there's nothing you can do about it. As an optimist, I hate that idea that we are doomed to trolls winning all the time. I believe we have to fundamentally change the behavior of the rest of us in society, not to point at the trolls, not to give them the attention they want, not to encourage them and feed them. Will that happen or not? I don't know.
Can we get rid of anonymity online? Will that solve the problem? Or
anonymity is not the problem at all. I can name plenty of assholes by name. You said it, I didn't. He's my favorite jerk. He's been after me various times, so it's okay. It's all right. We're friends, actually. But as we spar with in the end civility and friendship. Right?
Yeah.
We do spar because we argue about ideas. You don't attack me as a person. You may belittle my ideas. I like you too, but hug. But that's not what we see happening online. We see people attacking other people as individuals because of their ideas, and that's what's disturbing.